Guys, if it's not one thing, it's another.
Because Greenland, breaking news, they have responded to President Donald Trump's request. The president, or technically a new dictator of America, he has said that he wants to take over Greenland. Not only he wants to take it over, but as Americans, we need Greenland. Like, we own the rights to it, even though Denmark has had it in its territory for the last 800 years. But Greenland has responded, and I didn't know how they would respond. I was seeing news media outlets saying President Trump is willing to give Greenlanders $100,000 per person.
No, so it was for sale. I think he said like 50 billion, and that will give $1 million to each citizen that's in Greenland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a million. I saw that. I was like, oh,
it
snap,
wasn't 100,000. Okay.
That's something different. Yeah.
So guess what they said, guys? Leave a comment down below because I'm about to tell you what they said, and it shocked even me. Because in the old times, European descended countries would usually just agree with America and say, yeah, whatever you want to do. But Greenland stood up on the international European Union stage and confessed to the world that he will not be becoming an American. In fact, he said adamantly while he sat with Denmark's president and said, we are not becoming American. We value our relationship with Denmark and we will side with the European Union in these times.
Yeah, that's some strong words, coming from, I really don't know the guy, but we know Trump. When he hears something like that from somebody that he doesn't know, and that happens, we kind of know. Like, just think about Venezuela. Think about what's happening in Iran right now, and how he's handling things with missiles and the military. So, he said, "Oh, that was not a good thing that you said that," coming from President Trump.
Yes, in fact, President Trump, they interviewed him and they said, what do you think of all this, President Donald Trump? Greenland has officially announced that they do not want to be part of your territory. They don't want 500 million, billion, whatever amount of money. They want to stay within the Denmark kingdom. And President Trump said this, well, I don't know the guy, but that's a bad decision for him. This is going to be trouble for him. And I want you to tell me down below what kind of trouble you think this leads to. Because in a couple seconds, I'm going to read to you what Europeans think of America, in case any Americans were on cloud nine thinking everybody loves America so much. Just wait. Now, we listened to this video from Norway Untold. And, Norway is up there in the Nordic Arctic territory, alongside Greenland, Denmark, Finland, all the folks that are up there. And some of the comments are quite astounding. Just listen. One person says, we here in Denmark wonder how come someone who was our ally for 70 years suddenly become aggressive towards us. It's because US is such a young nation that their leaders don't understand the value of long-term friendship. Another person says, it belongs to the Nordics. No other nation can hold it. Somebody else says, if Trump sends illegal aliens to Greenland, just so you know what they think of American citizens, then NATO is dissolved, as promised to Putin by Trump. Now, every U.S. soldier from all U.S. bases in Europe and the world will be taken prisoner and kept incommunicado for the duration of the conflict.
Those are some strong words. So that's why we always say you have to be careful where you travel, because when was the last time something happened in America, right? So the things that happen is really outside of America. They take American citizens and hold them prisoner or hold them hostage. So that's crazy right there.
It is crazy because when we watched this video, we learned a couple of things. Because at first I'm like, yeah, the United States military, I'm sure they could take Greenland. I'm sure, they're very militarily smart and advanced. They've been in all these wars. We can name them all, but we're not going to do that. But they've been in so many wars and conflicts throughout the world. They have AI integration. But you know why the U.S. could technically lose this battle? It's not because of Denmark or the Nordics. It's actually because the landmass that is Greenland. Greenland is so cold and so desolate with very, very few people. There's only 500,000 people that even live in Greenland.
That's 56,000.
56,000? Not 500,000? Wow. That's even
56,000,
worse. There's only 56,000 people that live in Greenland. So the rest of the territory is untouched. Even getting these rare earth minerals and oils and all these things that potentially President Trump would be eyeballing along with the position is going to prove to be a heavy feat. Without a doubt, I do believe the U.S. military knows this, but it's something to consider that it may not be as easy to just take it over. And when the moment that happens, that President Trump decides to invade somewhere like Greenland, World War III is on and popping. So if he did it next week, World War III is on and popping. You won't be flying to Europe. You won't be flying anywhere. If he did it in the next 3 weeks, if he did it in the next 2 weeks, because he has exceedingly expressed
we still got some days in this week
that he plans to take it over. He didn't really say like he's not going to do it. He told their president and prime minister, well, this is going to go badly for you. Mm-hmm. So it's not when this or if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen, which brings us to the fact that unfortunately this is literally your last chance to sign up for the State of the Diaspora, the 5-in-1 17th edition that we have taught over and over since 2024, showing people the 5 best countries to live long-term, 5 to 20 years on the African continent. Only about 5 countries are good when it comes down to these residency processes, especially with World War III. If you're listening to people, they're not talking geopolitics, you may not want to listen, because geopolitics is everything in this season. Understanding who's visa-free, who's not visa-free, who's safe, who's a risk factor. Because as we speak, there are protests happening in Iran, internet outages and protests happening in Uganda during their voting process. So understand, not all African countries are created equal for you as an American, and you have to have a humble spirit when you are coming into these countries. So there's only 3 seats, It's crazy because this is the 3rd or 4th video where we debuted it and spoke about it. And the seats are just maxing out at a pace that I cannot keep up with. The Mature Adult Intensive coming February 28th, Cohort 5 is going to do the exact same thing, because even this week in the Mature Adult Intensive, people have been like, hey, I'm leaving Mexico. I'm selling my stuff in Belize. There are expats in Thailand that are like, I don't want to be in Thailand. Everybody is looking at this interesting region called the Global South, but more precisely within the Global South, a region in the SADC called the Mascarene Islands. So check out the links in the description. If if it doesn't work, I'm sorry. We ran out of space for you. Maybe next time, whenever that will be. If the link does not work, you are too late. But it's not too late to see where the safe territories are. It's not too late to make sure your family is protected from nuclear warfare. There are different types of pills and things you can get online on Amazon to ensure that if there's a nuke going off, you can take that, and you will hopefully not be as radioactive as everybody else, because this thing is starting, and it's not if, but a definite when will it start. And are you prepared? Of course, read your scriptures, Psalms 91, Psalms 139, Psalms 37, and on top, when you're reading it, make sure you pair action, because faith without works is dead.
Yeah, it's time to prepare. It's been time to prepare. So, we're going to keep telling you guys, hey, now's the time. And you have to do it sooner than later. Time is speeding up. It's moving faster and faster. We see news is coming out day after day with everything happening in the West, with everything happening just around the world in general. Flights is going to be affected. So you really gotta plan right. You really gotta talk to the right people, and this is why we're here. So check the links in the description, guys. I believe that's pretty much it.
Yeah, let us know what y'all think.
Yeah.
What's Trump gonna say next? Because the prime minister said he is not looking to become American. He doesn't want millions, billions, whatever amount of money. There's no amount of money you can pay him to get a blue U.S. passport. He wants to keep the Denmark passport because he values his Denmark heritage. I mean, it's been their heritage over 800 years. You can't expect somewhere that doesn't have values like America of capitalism, aggression, and, imperialism to just say, okay, I'm going to sell my birthright. I don't want to. That's not how people across the world think. Not all European descended nations are created the same. There is a nuance that you are seeing in this world, and I hope that you are discerning enough to understand what this means for American citizens. Let us know what you think down below.
Yes. Shalom, family.
Shalom.